This is our first time together. So this is an orientation. And if you find that is there's other people you'd like to invite, this is an open session. This course is all about Harriet Tubman, who we all know and respect. Not everybody does, though. Especially, you'd be surprised when we start talking to some of the girls. Their education on Harriet Tubman is just surface, if that much at all, because how many schools still do Black History Month? And it was only then that a lot of us heard about people like Harriet Tubman anyway. And now that has shrunken. It really takes the effort of the parents or some teachers or community people to educate our children, not just Black children, but all our children, of our leaders and people that we should know about and respect and learn from. So Harriet, myself, and Oni, and you are all the ones that are going to help bring this program to the community. So for you that don't know me, I have been telling Harriet Tubman stories for almost 25 years now. I'm in Washington State. So right now, I don't do so much presenting Harriet myself. Now I'm all about taking the stories I have recorded, I'm taking the stories and sharing from my perspective how we could all learn more about self-love. And I say all of us because even us who are mature women who have lived a lot of life have stories. I have a story I share of how I had to remove myself from abusive marriage after being in this relationship and married for 50 years, but it became abusive. And that took a while, but it took me reaching deep down into my spirit, asking for help, and finding the way to get the strength to leave. And then when I wrote this book, while I was gone from this relationship, after you get a book published, you have to read through it really carefully. And I realized how much I needed that book myself. So I had written it for myself. You understand? You probably understand that. My target was girls, but us older girls can all benefit from just remembering how important it is for us to take care of ourselves first. Self love for yourself and adults, not just children. I'm going to just to give you an idea of what it is that you're here possibly sign up for. So I can't see myself all over the country. I used to love to dream about traveling the world to do Harriet Tubman, and some of you performers probably felt like that at one time. Not anymore. I like my laid back lifestyle. I like to take my time in the morning. So I figured the best way for me to use this material is to have a train the trainer program. And so I'm looking to train people to present this curriculum in their own communities. Um, a chapter at a time. Chapters are very short, 1 or 2 pages, and actually go through it as if we were one of the girls or as we were actually presenting it, and to do it ourselves to see what that feels like. In your community, it could be just in your family, grab a girl or two, start using information with them, inviting them to be part of the session. And then you also help to present during the month of February so that you get the, and I know all of you here, that's not a big issue, but some people that come may not be someone who's been an educator before or up in front or a leader, I don't know. But the whole idea is that they come through and then they get comfortable with all of us together. start presenting some of the materials from the book. And so my program comes under one of my headings is the Harriet Tubman 3LC, Love, Leadership, and Legacy Coach. And that's what we're training. This is what the training is. You be a coach to teach these concepts. April through September would be up to individual trainers to do what they want to do with it, how much time you would have for to work with girls, what size or group. That would be up to those who wanted to do their local programming. So this next year, the 2024 would be the third year that I've celebrated with. This year was a webinar. Last year was a live event in Dayton, Ohio, to celebrate the International Day of the Girl Child, which is October 11th. I put the 12th here because that's the Saturday. So this year, I will hope that we would have a good attendance from the girls in your groups. I haven't gotten the girls to attend yet. I got the adults to attend and felt it was great and wonderful information. And by the way, if you're interested in looking at any of it, if you go to my website and look under the tab, the Girls United by Love tab, there's link to the video of the presentations. It was long, it was 3 hours, only helped start us off with laughter yoga. And so we had a fun event. We just didn't get the girls to attend. And I knew that would be a challenge anyway. I was trying to reach out to mentors who are already working with girls to possibly bring them in. But then after that, it just dawned on me. I've got to find those who are interested in presenting this program and sharing it with you. And that's where we'll reach the girls to get connected. What are the benefits? Why is this important? This is, again, open discussion. These pictures are just to prompt us sharing some of the benefits, why we even want to bother with this. I taught at a after-school program at fourth, fifth, and sixth graders in 2021. And some of them are already all into the boys and they're into the fingernails and all that stuff so early, and they are already down in themselves. They're already, one of them was writing on her hand, I wish I was dead. That stuff just bothered me. That so young age that they're already getting the symptoms of not appreciating themselves and who they are. And so these are things that we really need to keep in mind when we're thinking about who we're going to work with. It's not, it could be on an individual basis. It could be small groups, 1 or 2 girls, and there might be different age groups in that way if you know how to keep under control the older girls influencing the younger ones or whatever. It could be a family thing. I think it would be great. My idea would be grandmothers, mothers, aunts, and the daughters working together. It could be as simple as that, a family deal. What are some of the things you're thinking about when you think about why we want to teach them? Self-love, self-empowerment, and servant leadership. These kids are smart. I say they may not understand. They just may need us to explain a little bit more. They're prompted to research, do a little research on the person whose quote was mentioned that in that chapter. And they know how to do computer stuff. But the discussions along that and why they need to do it, and just encouraging that this is, and making it fun. So that's part of what individually you will do with your own program, ways to make it fun for learning. And that's where also the creativity comes in, dancing, singing, poetry, whatever way they express themselves. That's part of the program, is to get them enjoying it. So yeah, we could definitely have it adjusted to the age group that you're working with. And like over here on this slide here, like strengthening relationships. This is also ties into social emotional learning, that we're trying to build their self-awareness, their awareness of community or relationships, their critical thinking, their problem solving, their communication skills. All this is built into it. So there are so many different ways to help our children learn these skills. And that's when I say, when I talk about skills, what they're doing now, if they don't feel confidence with themselves being able to solve the problems, as we help them feel better about themselves, that they're able and capable, this is the skills that I'm talking about. And so this slide is just showing who we are serving. We're serving girls of all ages, maybe young mothers, new teenage mothers. Servant leadership is something to teach that people don't really understand exactly what that means. And so to be able to go into the community and help with a garden and maybe even start a group of girls to pick up paper in the park. This is servant leadership. You're showing how what you do to serve others is stimulating your leadership skills. Because Harriet Tubman was a very great example of servant leadership, and I have a little bit of that in the first part of the book. And that is a big part. And yeah, we're getting ready to get to that more. And you'll see that in the chapters, there's a whole section on servant leaders, servant leadership. So how to use this book? We're using it to, first they'll be learning about Harriet Tubman's life and her love and action. And that's what I give the example, that her self-love developed her and her compassion for others. And all the things she did to go back time and a time to rescue other people, it was all because, I feel like, because of her love and compassion. And I say her actions were love and actions, and we can demonstrate love in so many type of ways, different type of actions. And so those are the type of things that we can bring out and help the girls understand and develop as they go along. This is active learning. They're going to be discussing, they're going to be journaling, they're going to be thinking, they're going to be using their creativity, they're going to get involved with the lessons. So the chapters are very short, just to give them an idea of how it relates to Harriet Tubman. But then they have the quoted leader that is quoted at the beginning of the chapter. And then it comes to them to be looking at self-reflection. So what does this mean to you? What are you thinking when you hear this term or this discussion? And how is it going to help you personally? Just the idea that they're going to be practicing what they're learning in the community. When we talked about, there's something on financing. Harriet Tubman knew how to handle her money. And so going to get a bank account if they don't have one, or just learning to determine what can be put off for later to purchase, and saving money, those type of things. That's practicing what they're learning. Poetry, dancing, drawing, any type of creative expression. We want them to dig down into what they have and realize their unique gifts and talents. And then we want them to learn to celebrate themselves when they do well, when they feel like they're achieving something, or just because they made it to the meeting again and was a struggle to get there. Celebrating, we don't celebrate ourselves enough, ladies. Would you agree with that? So we want to see, we, along with Harriet Tubman, are the mentors that has to demonstrate all these self-love, self-empowerment type of characteristics. And so that's why it's important to me that us in our age range work with younger women. I'm just going to give you a little sample of me as Harriet Tubman, and this lesson is, I think this lesson on number 10 is actually from the other book, but it's the same concept. May not be number
Well,
10.
that was all right. But the church I really loved was when we had our own little secret church out in the woods, the campfire church meetings, and we'd be under the big bright moon and the beautiful stars and the invisible church.
If the camp meetings were secret, how did everyone find out about them?
Did y'all ever hear about the grapevine?
A grapevine? How do you communicate with that?
Now, did you ever think about some ways that you can talk that ain't talking?
I can just talk by texting. Oh, you didn't have cell phones. And you couldn't read or write. Wow, that's tough.
That's right. You got to think about that. I'm sure you come up with some ways if you need to. You're right. I ain't never seen no cell phone before today. So my daddy and his men out in the woods, when they clear off a new spot, and that was a good spot for a meeting, then they let folks know about it. They sing the song, Still Away to Jesus. Now, we learned that song in church. We ain't had no song books. We couldn't read it. And as we didn't know the words to the song, they didn't care as long as it sounded pretty. Because they always thought that if their slaves was singing, that they was happy slaves. Because y'all know we couldn't just be sitting out there or working out there in the fields talking to each other. Because we couldn't talk because they always think we was talking about running away. If they was talking about me, they was probably right. But they love to hear us sing because they say, oh, my slaves are singing all day. They some happy slaves. They just didn't know we some talking slaves with them songs we sang. Sure enough did. Brother Eli, would you sing that Still Away song for the children?
Sure. Still away, still away to Jesus. Still away home. I ain't got long to stay here. My Lord, He calls me in the thunder. The trumpet sounds within my soul. I ain't got long to stay here.